to discuss any concerns they may have prior to final decision. And regarding that, I did see in the paper that it was noted in the paper that Peggy Iva was concerned with the 3 lanes with regard to park. So I don't know which one she can maybe speak to that, but I'm a little confused. I took it as if it went down to 3 lanes, then that would give parking more space, more opportunity, as the big trucks with their big mirrors would be able to bar easier rather than the current 4 lanes. So I don't know which way that was supposed to go, but anyway. We adjourned at 4:23 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Riker. Any council members have any questions concerning the street committee report? That's it.
I thought you were.
Clyde Mitchell.
I thought you were.
Scratch Betsy's name from the street committee report and add Clyde Mitchell.
I got everything wrong. I actually don't deserve to be chairman.
I've tried that before. Okay, thank you, Mr. Riker. Moving on, our finance committee report, Mr. Drivens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some of the people may have left at some point before the start of the finance, utility, property, recreation, but I took the list that was there that was signed and had all the same people there. Tara Dahl came in my names felt differently than it was elsewhere. I'm really not sure. The lady I know is Tara Dahl was at the meeting, so I didn't have the spelling of her name anyway. So let's move on to the agenda items here. Item number 1 was the Badlands Board Fest, which is August 26th and 27th. David Weedle or David Goodell requested city permission for vendors to be able to sell skating equipment, t-shirts, etc., and possibly food. There would be some food that would be donated as well during the Badlands Board Fest, Friday, August 26th and Saturday, August 27th at JC West Park. Professional skaters have been invited to the event to encourage and assist local skaters in developing their skating activity. The committee recommends council approve request to allow vendors to sell goods at JC West Park on August 26th and 27th. The Fireman's Bash fundraiser. Rhett Kuhn requested city permission for an open container and noise variance for the Glendive Fireman's fundraiser, referred to as the Fireman's Bash, on Saturday, August 20th, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. behind the VFW. Jim Devine's musical group will perform at the fundraiser. Entrance to the fundraiser will be controlled by passage through the VFW. Casey Malco told me the name of the group just yesterday, but I can't remember it now, so I apologize. The committee recommends the council approve the open container and noise variances for the Fireman's Bash on Saturday, August 20th from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. There was one public comment. Tara Dahl complained about the trailer parked in the city lease parking lot on South Merrill. She stated that the tongue of the trailer could cause damage to the recently paved parking lot. She requested that the tongue of the trailer be lifted off the pavement. Mayor Jimison assured Ms. Dahl that he would see to it that a block would be placed under the trailer's tongue. The meeting adjourned at 4:49. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dryden. Any councilman have any questions concerning the Finance, Utility, Property, and Recreation Committee? Hearing none. Personnel Committee report, Mr. D. Baker.
Thanks, Mayor. union negotiations with AFSCME 852. The committee met with members of AFSCME 852 for negotiations on a new 2-year contract, and both sides came to a tentative agreement pending ratification from City Council and AFSCME 852. And the committee action is committee recommends council approving contract, and on the back side of this has the proposal. Tentative agreement. So everybody wants to look that over. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker pointed out the tentative agreement is on the back of the Personnel Committee report there with what was agreed to between the two negotiating teams. And if you have any questions, Mr. Baker or anyone of the Personnel Committee will try and answer them for you. Pretty straightforward, and as we pointed out, it is a 2-year contract and would expire on June 30th of 2019, or 2018. Hearing no questions, moving on. Public comments. Are there any members of the audience who would like to address the council on any specific issue? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Katie Idle, 1 Sussex Court, Glendive, Montana. I'm here to clarify for those that were on the street committee. Obviously, I didn't express myself very well, but my concern with the 4-lane traffic as it is I was parked on Merrill Avenue by the attic to go across it to, at the time, the Book and Beer Nook. And when I opened my door, a pickup with the big side mirrors hit the door, and actually I got a ticket over it. After my meeting at the Book and Beer Nook, I went up to Bob's Body Shop to see if they could get my door closed better. And he says, oh, and I was telling my story. It was my birthday and I got a ticket. Well, we're working on a car pickup right now, last week, and he got the ticket driving by. So if you read the study, there were 95 accidents on Merrill Avenue from 2010 to 2014, which is 19 a year. And so I think the only people that would be opposed to changing to 3-lane would be Bob's Body Shop and Rivers Auto.
Ms. Iva, some of the council members may have some questions before you sit down. Any councilman have any questions for Ms. Iva? I guess Mr. Reichert's point to try and clarify it was, are you in favor of
I am in favor of it because you would have wider lanes and less chance of your vehicle hitting. And I noticed even coming down here tonight, so I'm looking at the yellow or the white line. And there's a lot of vehicles that are just like right at the line, or maybe you have a foot. So yes, I should have looked before I opened my door, but I'm not unusual, although I am a very good customer of Body Shop.
Any councilman, any questions before we let Ms. Iva sit down? Okay, thank you, Peggy, for clarifying your stance. Any other audience members who would like to address the council on any specific issue? Hearing none, moving on. Our first item under new business is to accept the bid from High Country Paving in the amount of $408,100 for 22 blocks of street repair in the city of Glendive. Is there a motion to accept that bid? Motion by Al Baker, seconded by Kuhn. Discussion. Leith, this is the recommendation of the Public Works Department.
Yes, this is a recommendation of Public Works to approve $408,100 years. And we were excited about having that started. We haven't had a firm commitment on when that's going to start, sometime in September. But he hasn't really committed on exactly the time factor, but it will be in September.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Leith. Any questions from any council members? Mr. Baker.
Yeah, maybe he can answer. Do we know why they're $67,000 cheaper than the next bid?
Why it's such a disparity?
Well, basically it's to do with the downturn in the Bakken. And High Country wants to have a presence in this part of Montana also. And he is also doing some work in this area, so he doesn't have to have a lot of mold costs, you know, that kind of stuff. So all the equipment is basically right here. So therefore he can give us a pretty good price.
Any other questions? Hearing none, in favor of awarding the bid to High Country Paving of $408,100. In favor of the motion, Kuhn.
Aye.
L. Baker.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
Edrick.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Riker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Motion carries. And our next item under new business is to approve the request to allow vendors to sell at the Badlands Board Fest at J.C. West Park on August 26th and 27th. A motion to allow that. Motion by Hedrick, seconded by L. Baker. Discussion. For the new council member, Ms. Anderson, the reason why this request has to be made is the city does not allow solo vendors just to go in and use our park for retail sales, etc. We do allow it for events such as this, or if there's multiple people taking part in some sort of celebration or event. Hearing no further discussion, the motion is to allow the Badlands Board Fest vendors to sell at J.C. West Park on August 26th and 27th. L. Baker.
Aye.
Edrick.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Riker. Anderson.
Aye.
Motion carries. And our next item under new business is to approve an open container and noise variance waivers for the Gate City Fireman's Bash at the VFW parking lot August 20th on August 20th, 2016 from 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. The motion to allow that. Motion by Kuhn, seconded by Mitchell. Kuhn, would you like to explain to the council what this is as far as an event for the fire department?
It's for the Firefighters Association, which is a nonprofit organization separate from the city and the fire department. But we've had over 100 years of annual firemen's falls, but about 4 years ago we changed it from a Thanksgiving time fireman fall to a summertime fireman bash to be a little more casual. Been pretty successful, so it's our main fundraiser for the year.
Any discussion or questions from the council? Mr. Dryden?
Yeah, Mr. Kuhn, so just, you got a few examples. You guys use the fund for better equipment?
Yes, in fact, the proceeds, we can now, I wouldn't say break, but we just voted that we were going to use these proceeds to purchase, and it's the first time, and actually kind of a historical moment, it's the first time that the association will be buying equipment for the city, so we are going to be purchasing at least one thermal imaging camera for the fire department, In the past, there's been argument on the association of whether the association should be supplementing city funds or street funds and stuff, but with budget constraints and everything that we face in the fire department, the association felt obligated to try to get a piece of equipment that we desperately need, so we're going to be purchasing a thermal imaging camera for the fire department.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, in favor of the motion to allow an open container and a noise variance for the Fireman's Bash at the VFW Saturday, August 20th, 8 p.m. till 1 a.m. Anderson.
Yes.
Kuhn.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
L. Baker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Hedrick. Reichert. Motion carries. And our next item under new business is to approve the tentative agreement with AFSCME Local 852 Public Works Union as presented. Is there a motion to approve that tentative agreement? Motion by D. Baker, seconded by Anderson. Discussion. Mr. Baker, Chairman of the Personnel Committee, would you care to comment on terms of agreement and whether the committee feels it was fair and equitable?
Yeah, we met with them, things went really smooth. We swapped proposals a few times and had a good visit back and forth, and things came to an agreement rather quickly.
Okay. Any other discussion? Mr. Dryden.
Yeah, Mr. Baker, the city must have wanted to increase the probationary period, right?
Right. Yep.
That's correct. From probably 6 months? No, it was even shorter than that. Well, thank you, good job.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, in favor of approving the tentative agreement with AFSCME Local 852 for a new 2-year contract. Mitchell.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Reichert. Dryden.
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Kuhn. L. Baker.
Aye.
Motion carries. And our next item under new business is to adopt the preliminary budget for 2016-2017. A motion to adopt that. Motion by Kuhn, seconded by Dryden. Discussion. In your council package, you have the basic outline that Mr. Dorward has prepared. He is in Helena for meetings today and tomorrow, but we'll be back, and encourages all council members who have any specific questions or concerns to contact him directly, as he would like all changes made to the preliminary budget prior to adopting the final budget.
Prior to meeting earlier than 10 minutes before.
And no questions at this time for all of the people who were not on the Finance Committee. Finance Committee has had this document for approximately a week to look it over and make any recommended changes to Mr. Dorward, and hearing none, he put the budget together per the request of those council members who had contacted him and made specific requests. Like I said, if any of you have any questions, Mr. Dorward will be available later in the week to answer them for you. Mr. Kuhn.
And you could also, if you have a comment or a question, you can call or talk to one of us that are on the finance committee while
That is correct, thank
We
you.
can relay those.
No further discussion. Motion is to adopt the preliminary budget for 2016-2017. In favor of the motion, Hedrick.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Dryden. Riker. L. Baker.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Motion carries. And for those of you who have been on the council for a long time, you are aware that prior to adopting the final budget, we have to have a public hearing, allow people to have input and or ask questions before you adopt the final budget. So at this time, I am asking if anybody has any preference for setting a public hearing for the final budget. My recommendation is going to be prior to the next council meeting, which will be on September 6th at 6:30 p.m. Bless you.
Then it would be voted upon that night.
Yes. Yes, the budget has to be approved and into the state within 30 days following when we get our first taxable valuations, so we know what our mills are worth, and we could go up as late as September 8th, but we would have to have it adopted by September 8th. So rather than call another special meeting, it'd be easier to do it at the September 6th council meeting. If there are no further questions or suggestions, I would entertain a motion to set the budget hearing for Tuesday, September 6th at 6:30 p.m. Motion by Kuhn, seconded by Mitchell. Any further discussion? Mr. Dryden?
We have to have also a public hearing separate or adjacent to it on the permissive medical marijuana.
Yes. That would be part of the budget here.
Well, it's all one here.
Right, yeah, because that mill levy would be set that night also.
Right, I just thought maybe that'd be two separate hearings, even though they'd be one after the other.
Yes, you are correct. No further discussion. The motion is set the public hearing for adoption of the 2016-2017 budget on Tuesday, September 6th at 6:30 p.m. In favor of the motion, D. Baker.
Aye.
Riker.
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
L. Baker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Motion carries. And our next item under new business is to pay accounts payable in the amount of $113,274.04. The motion to approve those accounts payable. Motion by Hedrick, seconded by L. Baker. Discussion. We have 3 signers tonight. Okay. Hearing no further discussion, the motion is to approve accounts payable claims due in the amount of $113,274.04. Favor of that motion, Dryden.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Riker. Mitchell.
Aye.
L. Baker.
Aye.
D. Baker.
Aye.
Motion carries. And department head comments. Like we're down to 3 tonight, so Mr. Leith, we'll let you start.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank the council for approving the High Country bid. We're excited on this project. We're going to do a lot of work on a lot of streets but needed, and we're looking forward to accomplishing that. And we've been doing a lot of painting, as you can see out there in the city, crosswalks, and prepared for school. And we did have a little pickup over there by the high school. There we found a settling spot and found that storm sewer line was broke, and so we had that repaired. We did that today. And we are doing our lead copper sampling. We're doing that as we speak. Hopefully we get all that accomplished this week and samples sent in. And we've been working hard on the budget and trying to get that taken care of.
Okay. Any councilman have any questions for Mr. Leith of Public Works? Thank you, Pete. Mr. Svenvold. Oh,
Sorry.
Boom, go ahead.
Just curious how late in the season does Public Works keep the summertime employees?
We're going to have probably a couple of them till about the end of September, looks like. I think there'll be about 3 if I'm not mistaken. But we've been real fortunate this year. There've been a lot of applicants, and we've had probably 8 summer employees. And fortunately, the downturn of the pocket has helped us out. So we like that.
Any other questions from any council members? Mr. Dryden?
Pete, do the summer help, do they need to go through the Department of Transportation physical process? But they do drive city vehicles.
Just the pickups, that's it.
Not that.
Nothing that requires a DOT license?
No, nothing like that. Dump trucks or backhoes, nothing like that. Unless they do have the qualifications, then they are allowed, but for the most part, no. Pretty much weed whipping and lawnmowers. For the summer help. Good work.
Thank you.
Any other councilman with any questions for Public Works? Hearing none, Chief Mitchell, please.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. My crew's been busy. The fair kept us a little bit busier, but the fair went very, very well. Probably one of the most well-behaved fair seasons that we've had here in the last few years. So I was pretty impressed with the people that attended. One of our officers is on some leave right now as he is a new father to a new baby boy. So Officer Hibbert's taking a little bit of personal time. We're still on schedule for the academy to have officers attend, and that will start September 9th. And we have college starting, and so the captain and myself, or one or both of us, will be doing the opening talks. I guess we do a little presentation for the new students. We did one for the parents, so they started a new program this year. That's all I have.
Okay. Any council members, any questions for Chief Mitchell, police? All the vehicles are up and running, Chief?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, hearing none, moving on, mayor's comments. Oh,
I think you forgot me.
I did. Dean, you were quiet back there.
You were going to, but then somebody interrupted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Recreation, Mr.
Okay,
Svenvold.
Good news as far as the pool, we're able to stay open a little bit longer this year because of the, I guess, good efforts between myself and Jackie of getting more employees for the pool. We did lose a lot of them to the fall sports, but we have 4 or 5 that are able to keep going through, so we'll be able to stay open till Saturday. Because, I don't know, every year for the last 5 years we've had to shut down just because the staff hasn't been big enough when we lose them to the all the fall sports, so that's good.
Saturday will be the last
Yeah,
day.
Saturday the last,
So,
yeah, yeah.
all lessons are complete.
Yeah, all the lessons completed back on July 29th, I think, that Friday. And that completed those. On the programming side, as far as we've been doing soccer registration from July 12th through last Friday. We're still taking more registration for that. We're well over 200 kids right now, so we're almost in the process of forming teams and calling, recruiting coaches, so it'll take a little while. So hopefully we can get through that and try to get the whole practices going right after Labor Day weekend. So it's quite a process getting all that organized.
Okay. Any councilman have any questions for Mr. Svenvold or Recreation?
Dean, how long will the splash park keep functioning?
Well, I'm sure we'll want to try to keep it going, after Labor Day.
To Labor Day, through Labor Day.
Yeah, right, whatever, because Labor Day is on Monday, right?
September 5th.
Yeah, so at least do that day.
It used to
Yeah.
be.
And I suppose if it's hot, then probably keep it open even longer. One nice thing about that is you won't have to have a staff person there like as a lifeguard.
Good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Svenvold. Any further questions from the council? Hearing none, moving on. Mayor's comments. Just like to start off by informing the council that on Monday, August 8th, Mr. Dryden, Mayor Jimison, and City Attorney Scott Herring all received a letter from the Malloy Law Firm in Helena, written on behalf of the Ranger Review. And so we did receive the letter that Ms. Hedrick was talking about 10 days earlier at the City Council meeting that nobody had been recipient of yet. And Mr. Herring, our city attorney, is preparing a brief response to that and a more detailed response to follow. The good news is that both the Malloy Law Firm and the Mayor Jerry Jimison agree that Article 2, Section 9 of the Montana Constitution governs whether or not you can close a meeting for personnel or personal issues. So we are in agreement on that. I thought you'd be happy to know. And moving on, congratulations once again to the Dawson County Fair for an extended big weekend in Glendive. I think it started on Wednesday night or Thursday. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. 4-H. 4-H, yeah. And looked like a big turnout for not only the concert on Friday night, but also the rodeo on Saturday night. So my congratulations to the Fair Board and all of the people from Glendive, Dawson County, and eastern Montana that attended. I assume it'll be a few days or weeks before we get the actual count, but I think attendance might have been up this year. August 24th, we have two big things. One, the opening day of school for a couple of the schools in Glendive. One of them won't be opening, as I understand it, but also on that day there is training by the Montana League of Cities and Towns, the Local Government Center, and the MMIA for all elected officials who would like to attend. So if you are thinking about it, let me know so I can register you. They provide lunch and all materials free of charge, but they need to have a count so they know how many to prepare for. And this local training here upstairs in our fire training room is open to all elected officials and about 7 or 8 cities and towns in our area. So, you know, we want to make sure we have plenty of room. If we get too big a crowd, we will move it over to the multi-purpose room at the ambulance building, which will seat probably 20 or 30 more people than upstairs. Also, August 26th and 27th, as already discussed, the Fitch Foundation will be bringing to town the Badlands Board Fest. It will not only take place at J.C. West Park on Friday the 26th, but also at the fairgrounds on August 27th and back at J.C. West Park. So I'm looking forward to that. Tell you what, I'm waiting for the Olympics to get over so I can get something done again. I've only spent like 12 hours a day watching the Olympics here recently. But the Badlands Board Fest is another one of those events that you don't get to see very often, and especially in a town the size of Glendive. And as was pointed out by Mr. Dryden in his report, there will be some professional skateboarders here, and those guys are really fun to watch. And also, I will just very quickly hand out a little welcome letter that I prepared for the SuperCon to be held here in Glendive on September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And that will occur before our next city council meeting. So I just thought I'd let the council read the welcome letter that will be in the program for that event. And as most of you know, Christy and Steve Burry are the drivers and the force behind bringing this to Glendive. And well, I'm really looking forward to that one too. What a lot of exciting things happening in Glendive, Montana. If you don't live here, you're missing out big time. So my congratulations to all these people for all their efforts. And committee meetings. The tentative meetings would be ordinance on Monday, August 22nd at 4 p.m. Mr. L. Baker shaking his head yes, that suits him. And Personnel Committee on Monday, August 22nd at 4:15. That suit Mr. D. Baker? Okay. So we will hold those two committee meetings next Monday. And is there any other business to come before the council this evening? Is there any other business to come before the council this evening? Is there a motion to adjourn?